Hey everyone, my name is Taps, and there continues to be exciting news for Ecomi, the OMI token, and Veve. I can't keep up. There was an AMA with the head of licensing, Kahn, on Friday, which was amazing as it opened up a whole understanding of how large his track record is and how large his vision for Veve is. And today, Veve and Ecomi allowed WChamp FX, Hello K, Daniel Lee, and myself to be the ones to announce this week's drop on our live stream, which is an absolute honor. In this video, I'm gonna do a quick recap on these videos and then explain a little bit deeper on how Kahn and a major upcoming vertical are going to be what make the Veve user base explode and take the world by storm. As always, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the community and feel free to subscribe. I'm a crypto, stock, and real estate investor, but never a financial advisor. All right, so let's get right into it because there's a lot to unpack. As mentioned before, I was able to hop on WChamp FX, or One of the Champs, live stream with Hello K and Daniel Lee today, and we did about an hour and a half or 2 hour stream. And on this stream, Hello K and WChamp actually surprised me and Daniel Lee and everyone watching on what this week's drop is going to be. This is a first because Ecomi and Veve actually allowed us as content creators to announce the drop for them. This has never been done before. So we are all very thankful that we were able to do this, but it's really exciting to see how this is kind of evolving as members of the Ecomi fam. And the drop was, of course, the Ghost Trap. So this is from Ghostbusters. We've been waiting for this for months as it's been listed as a Series 1 drop for Ghostbusters, but we just haven't seen it. And this thing is beautiful. But what's really cool about it is it's interactive. So we'll be able to capture, maybe a Slimer or maybe the Stay Puft Man. And the other added thing is not only is it beautiful and interactive, but there's sound to it. Right? So this is different from the DeLorean that was interactive before, but now there's an element of sound and interactive ability with other NFTs. This is the first peek as what we're starting to see in the digital toys or advanced version of digital collectibles that we're seeing coming to Veve. If you haven't had a chance to check out the stream, you can do so on WChamp FX Trading's YouTube. Highly recommend you subscribe. He has great content as well. And we'll be doing a series of these switching on between who hosts each one. Now, on Friday, we were surprised with the Kahn interview. I would have done a video all about just the video. However, I was camping all weekend, but did have a chance to listen in. What an interview this was. It is stacked and really, really made me appreciate just how incredible not only Kahn is, but even more so than I already did on the leadership behind Veve. If you're unfamiliar with Kahn, he is the SVP of licensing or head of licensing for Veve, but he's also the man who's responsible for bringing Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And many, many more brands to the US and is a licensing guru. In this interview, he talks about how he took him a year and a half to secure rights to Pokemon. And then he also says that David Yu reached out to him about Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And how big Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards could be for this space and worked directly with him. And at this time, David was actually 17 or 18 or 19 years old. So it really spoke to David's tenacity, how long he's been tapped into in this space, and how deep this relationship really goes. He also says that he no longer has the rights to Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh!, but David does. So I don't know if that means that he has full rights or specifically to the cards. Either way, that was an interesting little tidbit that we can all speculate up, down, left, sideways, right? We haven't heard Pokemon, we haven't heard Yu-Gi-Oh! Yet, but at this point, we're all pretty confident, just like we were on Marvel, that they have it, and it's just a matter of time until they announce it. He goes on to say that he has 6 out of the 10 top kids brands and said, well, actually 7 because of Veve. So he is stacking Veve up alongside of the top 10 kids brands in the world. So that should speak volumes about what kind of company Veve and Ecomi are going to be in the long term. Another note that I wrote down was he actually spoke about Vive's leadership and compared them directly to how Nintendo's leadership was, how hungry they were and how much foresight they had to see this big thing develop. That alone, comparing Veve with a small company that is growing fast in the NFT and crypto space to Nintendo, if you're ever worried about the long-term ability of this company, that should speak volumes right there. When asked what his dream of Veve is, he said it's a full marketplace and compared Veve not to Netflix, but to Walmart, the Walmart of NFTs, basically where it's everywhere, right? Worldwide, and a choice of premium content, because he said that's what differentiates Veve from other digital collectible companies that will come or already out, right? Is they have premium content that is so much greater than just having content, right? And that is what gives them the major foothold in differentiation that stands out above all other competitors. In this video, I believe it was Reese or Dan who go on and say, we haven't even seen the marketing yet, which is crazy. We've seen like these little videos and little releases, like especially around the Marvel release, but marketing hasn't even started yet, and we're already up, 200% plus based on the Marvel news and everything else that's coming. Wait till that kicks off. That is so exciting. And finally, Al told us a story about Cabbage Patch Kids and how it's a really crazy story. I really recommend you listen to this because he goes into how he went into this old hospital that this guy converted into different rooms, and how they adopt the dolls, and he was charging a ton for these things, and how they grow out as Cabbage Patch, and he saw the potential. It reminds me of almost like scouting baseball players back in the day. Like you had to have an eye, right? And he saw this amazing company that was just sitting in the middle of nowhere that he wanted the rights to, and he worked on it to get the licensing. And initially it was a hard sell, but Cabbage Patch Kids grew into a monster under his leadership, which is pretty incredible. He did the exact same thing with Pocket Monsters into Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! He keeps doing this time in and time out. And so this got me thinking, what's his next project? And how does this align with Veve? Well, Al's focus for the past 3 years has been his company, Kidtagious, in Crane Con LLC. It was formerly, I believe, 4Kids Entertainment. This is his company and what he's been working for a number of years since. And he has this strategy of almost like a rinse repeat. It's a winning formula where, again, it was effective for Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And now his main focus for the past couple years has been Kungfu Porkchoppers. Now you'd be thinking like, okay, like we saw his thing about Kungfu Porkchoppers, but why is that a big deal? Well, for one, Veve Kids is one thing we've spoken about, how they're going to be attracting that younger demographic, which really hasn't been targeted yet. But let's lean a little bit into what Kungfu Porkchoppers is. Again, that target age is 4 to 8 years old, and Al Kahn has the rights to Kungfu Porkchoppers, which is China's top boys action adventure, on average holding 5 of the 10 top-rated kids slots each week. Broadcasts on over 100 channels in China, including CCTV and top nationwide kids channel, KAKU. Current season has over 2.5 billion views online since its launch in May 2017. It's won awards for 2013 Best Asian Property of the Year, and he has rights to Kungfu Porkchoppers. Now, what is Kungfu Porkchoppers? This amazing show in China is known as Gigi Bond. So it isn't called Kungfu Porkchoppers in China, it's known as Gigi Bond, which is one of the most successful 3D Chinese animated TV series out, and is underneath the Wen Company. And distributor is Crane Con LLC, Kidtagious Entertainment, so Al Kahn. It's the same thing as Pocket Monsters, right? He took Pocket Monsters, which was from Japan, rebranded it as Pokemon, and developed this entire new user base, and it took everything, the world by storm, but Pokemon, that named it. And again, he had that same site and saw Kungfu Porkchoppers and sees what this is going to do to the other markets. And Kungfu Porkchoppers is not massive yet in the US, but it's a work in progress, and it has massive potential though for Veve on not only the US side, but what could potentially be the Chinese side in Asian markets, because Gigi Bond has a ton of awareness. 1.8 million views, 3.1 million views, 1.3 million views. I mean, kids love this show. From this article from 2019, Wincing brings animated excitement to ATF. It says how recent deals in India and Malaysia have underlined the overseas potential of GG Bond, which is also available in English-speaking markets under the title Kungfu Porkchopps. So GG Bond is expanding not just the US, but other countries as well. And it's happening over the years, right? So as Kungfu Porkchopps continues to grow in popularity, more awareness will come to Kungfu Porkchopps, GG Bond, and what's happening around it. So do you think the head of licensing at Veve is going to want to bring his #1 project to Veve sometime soon once they're targeting that demographic? Of course. And there's a whole market that is not really being tapped yet. And I'll go a little bit more into what this market is with China. We saw this slide that Dan presented at the NF Tokyo event where he showed that the Google Play ranking for Veve top grossing revenue app across many countries. We could see it was #4 in USA at that time, #4 in Italy, #3 in Australia, #3 in UK, #3 in Canada. Now what jumps out of all those is most of these are all English-speaking countries primarily, right? But high rankings and high success. So most of their user base is made up of these countries. And we can see that in Australia, it's still #5 on the top apps ranking of entertainment. We can see still #4 in the UK. So they're crushing it with these English-speaking countries. But are the US and the UK and Australia the largest user base to target? No. When we look at top countries by smartphone users, so who is using the most apps, we can see China, 911 million smartphone users. India, 439 million. United States was #3 at 270 million. Indonesia at 160 million. Brazil at 109 million. I mean, the list goes on, but US is the only one that really sticks out here. And the #1 is almost 4 times as many users as the US. China and India has almost 2 times as many users, with Indonesia and Brazil being not far behind the US. And we can see United Kingdom is at #11, and Australia, not even on the list. New Zealand, not even on the list. Italy, #16 at 45 million. So where is Veve in the rankings for these other top 5 countries? When we look at #5, Brazil, scroll down, where's Veve? At #39, not even close to top 10. We look at Indonesia, where is Veve? Not even top 50. But the #1, China, is nowhere in the top 50. And I believe that question that came up in that last AMA around localization, when can we see more languages come to the Veve app? That will be huge, right? Because we can see a lot of these apps are directly in Mandarin, and English is not all of their first language. So when that becomes an option, the ability to have the app available in other languages is going to be huge. And that's probably why they haven't focused on that right away, is because they know that they want to come out with licensing that is targeted to English-based users initially, grow it, be able to handle the bandwidth before you really tackle these major markets. But between China and Indonesia and Brazil, over 1 billion of smartphone users who are really not being targeted yet at all. And who has the licensing and the connections with these major markets, with one of the top kids shows in China, Kahn. So we haven't even touched on what is going to be a massive swarm of users to Veve yet. So once localization in Kungfu Porkchopps and more licensing that is geared towards this audience comes, you can expect the Veve users to explode. Now, is it just Kungfu Porkchopps? No, and here's why. During our stream, we kept saying how pretty much all of us were most excited for anime to be coming. That is a vertical that has already been announced. It will be coming in the near future, and we are all very excited as fans of anime. But let me tell you why I'm excited as an investor in how large that's going to be for the app. Well, let's look at Japan, right? So Japan mobile users is not in the top 5, but again, Veve doesn't pop up in their top 50 apps and entertainment as well. But this may come to a surprise to you because it came to a surprise to me that Japan is not the leader in most watched anime in the world. They're not even top 5. When we look at the top 10 countries where anime is most popular, we can see the usual suspects we just spoke about. China is number 1 at 1.1 billion average number of people watching anime. 80% of the total population of China watches anime. Number 2 is India. Number 3 is Indonesia. Number 4 is Brazil. Number 5 is Russia. Number 6 is US. Japan is number 9. So looking at the top 6, China, India, Indonesia, Brazil, Russia, United States, and then we reference back to the top 6 countries by smartphone users, China, India, United States, Indonesia, Brazil, Russia. The exact same 6. So between smartphone users, anime fans, it is a target market of well over billions of people. So there's the Veve for kids side, but then there's anime, which is going to appeal to all ages of multiple different countries. And that's why I'm so excited for the anime vertical, because it opens a whole nother Pandora's box. And what anime can we hope to see? Well, we'll probably see the top and most popular ones, right? Hopefully see Dragon Ball Z coming, One Piece, Pokemon, Naruto, Death Note, Attack on Titan, Sailor Moon, Fullmetal Alchemist, Sword Art Online. I mean, it is an entire vertical coming, right? So there are so many animes out there that have massive following that they're going to be able to capitalize on and go after these fan bases. But again, that's the collectible side. We already see Comic-Con is coming, and then there's the events where we'll be able to see hopefully Veve present and have booths at these large anime events promoting their anime NFT collectibles, maybe at like Comic-Con Japan, which is the largest one with over 750,000 people going. I mean, there are tons of events throughout the world. But it isn't just the digital collectibles that they're going to appeal to, in my opinion, because what are we seeing at Comic-Con? What was just announced with Marvel? Digital comic books. What about digital manga? Digital manga NFT. Digital manga already exists and it has a large following. I mean, this is just one company that does a lot of the digital manga. So I'm speculating that we will probably see digital manga in our future once the anime vertical is launched and we get some collectibles going and the fan base growing. And if you're wondering if manga is still relevant because of how many people watch anime, it still very much is. People love their manga and it is not going anywhere. And in fact, there was a recent news that came out where Marvel Comics and VizMedia launched manga partnership with Marvel Meow. So this came out about 2 months ago, where Marvel is going to be working directly with VizMedia. Now, Marvel is working with VizMedia. Who did we just find out Marvel's also working with? Ecomi and Veve. Now, this spoke to me because who is VizMedia? VizMedia is a major anime corporation. They have current licensed of Berserk, Bleach, Boruto, Castlevania, Death Note, Hunter x Hunter, Inuyasha, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Naruto, Pokemon, a bunch of different types of Pokemon, The Prince of Tennis, Ranma 1.5, Sailor Moon, and that's just the anime. What about their manga licenses that they currently hold? Look at all this. I mean, it's absolutely insane how many anime mangas they have access to. And no, Veve has not announced a partnership with VizMedia yet, but Viz is working directly with Marvel. Marvel's working with Veve. And again, we can see everyone knows everyone. They've all worked together at some point. And if they're not, they're most likely going to at some point. So in short, 3 massive points on how Veve is going to take the world by storm. And that is, there is a massive demographic that is not yet being targeted. Kids, which has been discussed. Veve Kids will be huge. And with the likes of Kahn, who has massive connections to kids brands, including his own, and Jeremy Padower, who is a major toy licensor, they've got it in the bag. Number 2, the largest country with the most smartphone and app users, China, is an attractive target audience for Veve, especially since Kahn holds the US licensing for one of their most popular kids shows, Probably even more licenses that we're just not aware of yet. And number 3, the top 6 countries of mobile users where China is number 1 are the same top 6 countries who watch the most anime, which we know is confirmed vertical coming to Veve. These markets, over 1 billion smartphone users, well over billions of anime fans. Think of how much opportunity that is. And they haven't even started marketing. They haven't even updated the app to have multiple languages. That is crazy to me that there is that much opportunity, so much market share to capture, and they're already this successful with where they are in the process now. So we keep hearing, when exchanges, but I think we should all be asking when localization, when Kungfu Porkchoppers, when anime. Those pieces add up to world domination in my point of view for Veve and Ecomi. It really seems like we haven't seen anything yet in what's going to be legitimate moonshot and innovative company for years to come. And my final thought on that is I am happy to be an investor and involved in the project and the community now, because I think we're not going to recognize it in a year, 2 years, 3 years, because it really feels like it's still just kicking off. I hope you found this valuable. If so, please hit the like button and leave a comment about what you're most excited about. More countries, anime, more licensing. There's so much to choose from, but the comments help my channel grow, so please let me know your thoughts down below. Also, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell for future content. That's it for today. I'm Taps. Thank you for your time, and happy trading.